Welcome to Kentucky Football Nation. Well, let's talk about revenue sharing because that's the big thing in the news. I jumped on here to make a video today. Of course, you guys probably heard the story. Matt Norlander was at the Peach Jam covering basketball, and he never gets anything wrong. And someone told him that Kentucky is spending 45% of their NIL on basketball. Now, backstory is the SEC at the SEC media days. Evidently, all the teams verbally agreed to spend, like 15-3 on football, 15% of NIL or on football, and 3% on basketball of the money they got from the settlement. And it's a verbal agreement. Okay, guys, do you think if Tennessee or Alabama needs to spend more than 15% on football and less on basketball, you think they're going to do that? I mean, come on. And then, of course, you get into basketball with us. Now, so that was put out as, this guy never gets anything wrong, Norlander. Well, Matt Jones came on the next day, yesterday, Tuesday, and said, that's not true. That's not the numbers. And he got it from a source in the football program. We know he can get it from Mark Stoops if he needs to. So he probably got it from, as high up as it goes. However, Matt Jones did do one good thing, and that's to call for show the fans the numbers. Is it 15-3? What is it? If we're not spending 3 on 15-3, are we spending 14-4? 15-5? What are we spending? But they're saying we spent $9 million on football and $9 million on basketball, and the football program's saying that's not true. But that leads me to today's video. Wednesday, Mark Stoops did a radio show this morning. It's called Unsportsmanlike with Evan, Canty, and Michelle. I listened to it. I never heard of these people. I think they're in Florida because they were talking about Jacksonville and some other pro stuff down there. I could be wrong, but it's more of a pro. They were talking a lot about the NFL, but they had Mark Stoops on, and I have like 13 bullet points that they talked to Mark Stoops about. So let's talk about the interview that Mark Stoops did this morning. They asked him, what's the key for longevity in the SEC? Because he is starting his 13th season. And he said the key is to take it year by year and embrace the challenge. So yeah, saying all the right things. And he's right. You got to take it year to year. He also pointed out Kentucky, since he's been at Kentucky, which he started in 2012, we are one of 3 SEC teams to go to 8 straight bowl games. One of 3. Well, the other one's got to be Georgia, and I don't know what the other one was in Alabama. I don't know who the other one is, but one of 3. So he did have a good run there, and there was consistency. Now we got to keep it up, which NIL. We've got to find out what we're spending. I think they're going to have to tell the numbers. They pointed out that his extension goes to 30-30, which would be 19 years in the SEC, and that would be his brother Bob Stoops, who was at Oklahoma for 18 years or whatever. Yeah, 18 years, I think. So they pointed out that, hey, you're going to beat your brother if he stays that long. Now, you all know most people would bet that he's not going to stay that long. Well, you know what? Let's just see, okay? And let's see what the numbers are. Because, Mitch Barnhart, dude, you got to put the numbers out and let us see. Is it 15-3? What is it? How close is it to the – and the 15-3 is all BS, guys. Come on. The SEC, first time they try to punish Tennessee or Alabama or somebody, it's going to go to court and they're going to lose. Look, it's going to be hard to institute a salary cap. Let me just say, and of course you've heard that from other people. Then they talked about the Big Ten, these dumbass Big Ten things. I don't know. So some dumbass Big Ten commissioner, whoever, said only 6 SEC teams have won a national title since 1960. So that makes the league top heavy. That was his logic. That's how dumb this son of a bitch is. Oh yeah, 6 teams. You know what other conference has more than 6 teams since 1960 to win a national championship? None. Big 12 is close, but no. Big 10, no. And of course, Kurt Signetti. What's wrong with Kurt Signetti? Kurt, dumbass IU coach. I'm gonna be nice because I live in Indiana. I have friends who are IU fans, but man, shut your damn mouth, dude. You ain't even beat a ranked team. Came out there and said we dropped Virginia because we wanted to have an SEC schedule where we don't play anybody. Dude, shut the hell up. We play somebody. We played Louisville. Georgia played 2, top 5 non-conference schedule players. You go down the line. Everybody plays rivalry games. Clemson plays South Carolina. We're not playing Jacksonville State like you, buddy. So this dude, he's a loser. He hadn't beat anybody ranked, and he ain't gonna. So he may back his way into the playoffs. You're going to get your ass beat. And when's the last time Indiana played an SEC team? You stopped playing us in 2005. We stopped playing. You haven't played. I think Tennessee got you in a bowl a couple of years ago when you had a decent team. Anyway, Kurt Signetti, don't worry. Play our schedule, bud. See how many games you think you can win. So yeah, Big Ten, just penis envy. That's all that is. I think Uncle Lou said that. Shout out to Uncle Lou. If y'all don't know who he is, Georgia channel, Uncle Lou, look it up. He just tells Kurt Signetti like it is. And yeah, the guy's an idiot. Then they tried to give him like a trap question. They said, what would the best team in the ACC finish if they played in the SEC? Of course, Mark Stoops wasn't dumb enough to answer that question. He took up for the ACC because he was at Florida State, and so he didn't answer that question. I thought good answer is to not answer. So he did well there. Then they talked about our team struggled in the passing game last year. And then they wanted to talk about Zach Calzada. And he said, well, first of all of our struggles in the passing game wasn't because of the quarterback, it was because of the offensive line, which is why we spent so money on an offensive line. And we have an SEC offensive line, as you're going to see. I don't know how many games they're going to win, but we will not be like last year. And then they talked about Zach Calzada. He said the reason we took him is because he's played and won in the SEC, and he's the 6-year guy. He has experience. And I thought he said this about Cutter Boley. He did not think it was right to leave Cutter Boley all alone in the quarterback room. So in other words, probably we're going to try and redshirt this guy maybe a year, and I think they're just buying him time. People that are upset, and maybe Cutter Boley will beat him out in the summer. I doubt it. It really doesn't. If you listen to what's said, I don't think he's going to beat him out. But yeah, Boley has plenty of time. Plus, we got the kid from Cincinnati, if he comes, after that. So we're good on quarterbacks for a little bit. What else did he say? Then because they were talking about Liam Cohen. I'll tell you what he said. They asked him about Liam Cohen in Jacksonville. I don't know why he said this, but he said this with a straight face, which I can't see on radio. He said Liam Cohen is a player's coach with a fun, good personality. He said that, I hired him twice. He left, he came back, he left, came back. He said he wasn't mad about it. He understood. I'd be mad about it. The guy, a fun, good personality. You sitting there lying to Tampa Bay that your daughter's at a doctor's appointment while you're sitting there signing a contract with Jacksonville. Does that sound like a fun personality to you guys? Yeah, okay. I hope we won't ever see him again. And whatever happens to him in the NFL, who cares? He can, whatever. Now this is where they tried to, once again, bait him into saying something. They were talking about, Alabama basketball is just as good as Alabama football. And doesn't the football program have the same resources as the basketball program? He didn't answer, and he didn't agree or disagree. He said UK has the best, either the first or second college basketball program ever. It's actually one. UCLA has more championships because John Wooden got 10 in 12 years. And yeah, that's back in the 60s when you could you could have 20 scholarships. So yeah, that's all they got us on. We had the most wins, most Final Fours. We're the best. Look, statistically, we're number one in basketball. And so he said he understood that, which he should understand that. And guys, listen, and look, I love football, but listen, you think if Auburn was Kentucky in basketball, you think they wouldn't spend more money on basketball than football? Or let's say Tennessee. Tennessee's the best basketball program ever in the hit. You don't think that you're going to spend do what you're good at. Do what makes the school money. Okay, is it fair? No, hell no, it's not fair. It's not fair to Mark Stoops. But let's see when the numbers come out, and let's see the results on the field. Now, if we start stinking it up, and then we find out that it is, they only got, instead of 15-3, it's 16-2 or whatever percent. Now, okay, well, now there's a problem. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's the case. I don't think it's 45% to, and let's see, you wouldn't give the football program the whole 55% because you have baseball and other. Yeah, so I don't know what the percentages are, but they're saying it's 50-50, and we're the only SEC school that's doing 50-50 basketball to football. Well, let's see. So yeah, he kind of danced around that. Hey, look, you're the best, like I said, best basketball team ever. in program in college basketball is second to college football. I don't know though. You take the Final Four or the NCAA tournament, dude. When the NCAA tournament comes on, everybody's watching it. You get 70 teams in there. That's not 12 teams. So basketball cannot beat football during the regular season, and they can't beat them during the college playoffs. But they can come close. Then they ask him, they ask him about the resources at Kentucky. He said, I'm going to kind of word for word here. He loves the resources and support he has at Kentucky, and he embraces the challenge, and he is having fun. Now, it sounded legit to me, like he wasn't just saying it to be saying it, and it sounded like he was genuine. That's not the word, legitimate, genuine, when he said it. So look, well, he's making $30 million. How much, how bad could it be? But no, he did sound like legitimately he enjoys the job. I could be wrong. He could win an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor on that one.